Hey there, Ram here, founder and CEO of Silq. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you know there's been a lot going on in the world of global trade and in the minds of importers who've been following Truth Social for the recent updates. So I want to quickly send over a quick freight market update for the first half of August with the top 5 questions in every importer's mind in America today. So here goes. How do I plan inventory when the tariff policy is changing overnight and with it, my landed cost? That's the number one question in everybody's mind. Now, if you've been following the news over the last couple of weeks, and frankly, Truth Social, you've noticed that the tariff rates have been all over the place. Whether India at 25% or maybe not, whether Canada at 30% or maybe not, or Mexico at 30% or maybe not. And there's a lot more coming down the pipe. So how do you adapt? The first thing we're telling all our customers is shorten your planning cycle. Smaller bite-sized POs is a way to go. You have a regular flow of inventory coming in, and you're going to be importing on different tariff rates in the hopes that at the end of the day, this will all even out when the dust settles. You cannot stop doing business, but you can plan better. Number 2, focus on functional origins. Origins that have the highest impact, the quickest to turn around inventory, and also you'll be able to have better control over quality, compliance, and on-time performance. Lastly, price and volatility. Despite the administration's best attempt to not pass on the tariffs to your customers, it is unfortunate, but it is a reality that at the end of the day, Americans and you, the importer, are footing the bill of these tariffs. So price it in and make sure that you do have buffer and padding in your budgets in order to be able to stomach the impact of these tariffs. In 2025, the winners aren't the best forecasters. It's the fastest adjusters at this point in time. Question number 2. Are my suppliers really shifting production or just relabeling the products? This is a question that is in a lot of people's minds, and some of them deliberate, some of them are unintended. Now, we've seen over the last couple of weeks, with the changing tariff landscape, we've had a lot of customers who think that they move their production to Vietnam or Indonesia or India. Well, while no country is safe right now and every country has its own risks, you got to do what it takes to protect your supply chain. Ask for factory proof. Make sure you do get photos, timestamps, production videos. 2, watch lead times. This is the easiest way. If the lead times are not changing, guess what? Your production or your factory floor isn't changing either. Last, hire inspection companies, as I said earlier. You need boots on the ground. You need people who go to the factory to inspect merchandise to make sure that this is actually where the product is made. Silq is someone you could leverage for this service. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get dinged or penalized for mislabeling that is being done by factories overseas. Is everyone else freezing shipments, or am I the only one on pause? This was one of the most common questions we got in the month of July. Now, you're not alone. Let me assure you of that. Container volumes out of Asia dropped by a staggering 35% on July. Big box retailers who could afford it pulled in this inventory in the earlier parts of Q2. Mid-market and SMB importers are hitting a pause from everything we can tell. This isn't hesitation, it's a strategy. What matters now isn't volume, it's readiness. So our advice to you is, can you move fast when the moment's right? Do you have backup plans for origin, freight, and handoffs? What can you do at this point in time is to make sure that you stage inventory. You're going to have to work with your factories, and believe me, factories overseas are more inclined to support you now more than ever because they know they're also in this with you. This is the time to work with them hand in hand and make sure that you are staging inventory for the right windows. When things open up, you want to take advantage of it and get inventory out. This is one of my favorite questions. How can I lower landed freight costs if I'm not moving factories? Oh, believe me, I wish you had a magic wand, and we don't. You may not be able to shift production overnight, but that's okay. You can still drive down the cost of shipping by a couple different methods. First, origin consolidations. Now is the time to do smarter and more efficient container load planning. Your forwarder should be working in lockstep with you, trying to map your POs, working with your suppliers to figure out which PO is ready when and how you can consolidate cargo efficiently. If they're not in it with you, you might want to rethink your decisions there. 2, carton level inspections. All the inventory that you've been purchasing just got more expensive now that you're paying tariffs on the value of these goods. The last thing you want is merchandise that is of poor quality that you're not going to be able to sell in the market. So leverage an inspection agency like Silq that can help you get your inspections up to mark. 3, cleaner freight handoffs. The last thing you want to be paying right now is detention and demurrage. And believe me, you shouldn't be, because guess what? The ports are wide open right now in America. There's no reason for you to be incurring additional storage, demurrage, detention charges because you couldn't pull out a container on time or you couldn't return an empty on time. That is not the case anymore. Work with your forwarder once again. Last, should I ship now or wait? That's $1 million question right now. Rates are soft. Tariffs are unpredictable. So what do you do? Ship or hold? The smartest importers are doing both. Ship now at low rates and hold it in a bonded warehouse if you miss the tariff window. This gives you optionality, holding cargo available to you that you might be able to pay tariffs as soon as you've sold them is probably the easiest way to go. The other alternative is start exploring partnerships in Mexico, in Tijuana, and other places where you could hold inventory and still pull inventory overnight and pay tariffs only when you bring them back into the country. This is a very smart and efficient way. This is where all the big importers are headed to. So in summary, the world isn't getting any easier. But the best importers aren't waiting for it to become easy. Because guess what? If it's easy, everybody would do it. You're special only because you're able to fight the odds, and you have partners with you like Silq who could help you fight the odds.